Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Let's do a quick recap of only some of the major points we discussed in session 3. Now, I say only some major points because this session was very lengthy and full of points. The discussion on Hadith and laying its foundations is a very wide topic which has many perspectives and a great amount of detail. And we try to squeeze in a lot of it in just one session. Firstly, just like we established with the intellect that the Quran is an authentic source of knowledge, in the same way, we find that the Quran also refers us to another source of knowledge outside of itself, and that is the Prophet of Islam. The Quran asks us to follow the Prophet as a source of knowledge which is as representative of reality and Allah's commands as the Quran is. And in this sense, the Prophet's instructions are as binding as the Quran. What this means is that there are facts and instructions that the Prophet gives us which cannot be found explicitly in the Quran. There would be allusions to them, but no explicit mention. So as an important foundation point, it isn't necessary for every concept to be explicitly mentioned in the Quran for it to be important. Rather, it is very possible for the Prophet to tell us very important things that the Quran only mentions very briefly. The importance of the Prophet's teachings was such that the early companions used to memorize, transmit, and at least in some groups of Muslims even record the words of the Prophet and considered these of high value and referred to them for guidance. The importance the companions and scholars gave to a hadith is in and of itself a sign that they did not take distortions lightly. Now, how did the companions transmit these narrations, and were they so susceptible to tampering? Well, the companions and scholars were very sensitive regarding these ahadith, and the utmost effort was made to keep them recorded, memorized, and transmitted with special methodologies to ensure minimum mistakes. Yes, just like we feel strongly about our Prophet's guiding words, the companions were even more protective over it. One more point we discussed is that we have to pay attention to the fact that authenticity can mean one of two things. Authenticity, commonly referred to, means a hadith that has a chain of narration where all the people in it are thiqa or reliable. This is a terminology in the science of rijal, but authenticity has another broader meaning, and that is any hadith that we are confident has come from the ma'asum, whether it's chained with sahih or not. Because what matters to us is that the Imam has said those words. And if this fact can be proven, that is what is important to us. Is it possible that a hadith be weak, but the Imam really said those words? I'm glad you asked. Yes, of course. Just like a hadith with weak chains can very well be authentic in its real sense, a hadith with sahih chain can sometimes be inauthentic in its real sense. Ilm-ul-Rijal is not the decisive factor of what is truly authentic and what isn't. Rather, it is one of the several ways to help decipher whether something has come from the ma'asum or not. We discussed all this at length and with examples, so make sure to watch the session so you don't miss out on this very important foundation.